Welcome to the TSgt podcast, where we unlock your power to innovate. Our mission is to empower airmen, connect them to resources, and accelerate change across the Air Force logistics enterprise. Specifically, our team works as an innovation accelerator assigned to the Air Staff Logistics Directorate, where we partner with airmen to operationalize the new sustainment strategy. My name is James, and I'm going to be your host today.
Welcome to the TSgt podcast. I'm joined by some airmen innovators here, part of a hydrospark cell and the founding members of Project Madagascar, which is pretty cool. We'll get into what that is in just a second. But first, you want to go introduce yourselves for all the listeners out there?
Yeah. I'm a senior Jackson Wynn. I am a 2S by trade. I work out of the 7th ORS at Dyess Air Force Base. Primarily, I just work I'm an APS troop, so I do kickboxes all day. That's really it.
My name is TSgt Aaron Garcia, 2S as well. I run central storage currently. Yeah, we do all the warehouse functions for the base of Dyess.
I'm TSgt Adam Funderburgh, TMO by trade. Been doing cargo for about 12 years, and that's where I sit right now.
Awesome. We are currently at LOA 2023 in St. Louis, Missouri. We got to bring these guys out here for an Airman Idea Expo, where they got to kind of showcase their product, which is relatively a finished product, kind of ready to go out. Or we're getting there, we're moving towards that. So, you guys would like to go ahead and introduce Project Madagascar?
Yeah. So, Project Madagascar is essentially a mobile version of ILSS in a sense. It uses QR codes, so quick read codes, instead of using maybe a barcode or in place of a 1348, really. So the idea is, you have your part and it's got a QR code on it, and you're able to just use your mobile app, and you're not using a 1348. You're using a QR code. It's a lot faster. You can do a lot more, a whole lot more data, and it's really secure too. But it's getting rid of a lot of human error, so we're not inputting as much. I like to focus on our put away process the most. Usually if a part's misplaced or missing, it's because someone didn't put it in the right spot and they just didn't read. That's how it goes. So I like to say that our function will stop that, because you can't put it away without scanning the bin row label and scanning the part and it agreeing with you and saying, hey, you put that in the right place. Congratulations. Go about the rest of your day. A big part that I'm really excited about is our MRSP function. So being able to take your deployed kits downrange and have a live dashboard of what you've got going instead of printing out multiple R43s. So it's time savers and it's convenience, really. It's convenience. Also, it's any airman can pick the app up. That's really the goal, is the whole multi-people airman stuff. You can pick this app up. I can give it to a TMO troop, for example, someone that's somewhat familiar with what they need to be looking for, and they can go pull apart if that's what was needed downrange. And then as well with the kits, it's going to store everything you've done, right? So, now you're writing an order log and then you're taking that to your base and you're processing all that post. Why do that when you can have all the apps store everything for you? Get back, export that file, drop it in a batch file. Right now is what we're going to do, and then you're done. Now in the future, we'd like, ILSS to talk to it, it just do it automatically. There's no batch file dropping. That's just the way that it could work right now. Hopefully in the next couple weeks here, that'll roll out. And anybody can access it right now too. We can drop the link as well. You can go on there and mess around if you like. It's totally open source. It's in GitHub. It's awesome, and I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. Anything to add to that?
Yes. So the biggest takeaway and why we really kind of started this project to begin with was Ether Sprint came up. There's a competition. We were downstairs in my work center, and it was me and Airman Wynn and a couple of us. We were just honestly trying to figure out a way to make the logistics system better, because we were tired of something happening. We were going through all the 1348. Some of my guys were going through document control, doing all the things, and we were starting to look at the forms. I'm like, man, this form was made before half of my guys were even born.
In the corner, it's 98 or 91, something like that. But I think our biggest inspiration was probably Amazon. We toured DFW's first generation hub, and they're on what were they on? 16, the 16th generation warehouse. So that's as old as it really gets. And we are way behind them. So just seeing the way they do things, I was kind of jealous. I was I want to do that. How do I do that? Yep. Having these little Roomba style robots, they just pick up the bin and bring it to you and they tell you what to pick. It's it doesn't get easier than that, And if we could do that in the Air Force, we could do anything.
We were looking at some of our simplest tasks that we need to complete, just like signing for cargo.
Yeah.
And it's one of our biggest time wasters, just taking possession of cargo from another career field. So I guess the question was, how do we speed this up for such a redundant step in the process?
Yeah.
I'd like to elucidate the current process.
Yeah.
Right. It's form driven. If you guys could walk me through this kind of like picking apart.
Yeah, we can do a poll. Okay, so really, ideally, in a busier warehouse setting, you're gonna at least in storage, right? You're gonna refresh the list, and you're the sun, right? In an APS like me, I'm supporting a single airframe. Like I may have like 3 pulls a day. Okay, so what you would do is you would assign the pull yourself in ILSS, so you're the person pulling it, and then you're gonna print the 1348 out. So you'll do that. You'll then take your 1348. You'll walk out. It'll have your warehouse location on it where you're pulling and your quantity and all that. So you'll take that out to the warehouse, go to wherever you're going. Best practices that I've learned is you'll take a pen and you'll just mark off what you're pulling. So you're pulling 1, you mark off the quantity, mark off your serviceable balance. So after you've taken that part, you should have 4 left. You see 4, cool, 4 there. Mark off your stock number. Make sure you're pulling the right part, right? And then that's it. You'll sign and date the pull piece in there, and then you'll take that over to the maintainer's not there, or the customer. You'll put it in a hold location, and you'll go back to your computer. You'll pull it in the system. You'll wait like 3-5 minutes for the to pull in the system, and then you'll move it. So then you'll take the AMID, and you'll write like APS customer hold, APS TMO hold, whatever is going, and then that's kind of it. You'll leave the first and second copy with the part, and you'll put a third in filing. So you'll just tear it off. It's like on legal paper. Now, if the customer is there, you'll just straight up deliver it to them. You don't have to pull it in the system to deliver it to them. It'll just do it automatically, which is the best feature, honestly. It's like waiting for a pull when you have a customer is like, hold on a second. Yeah. She's loaded. So it's that simple. The same, and then when you're pulling a shipper, there's really not much difference. It's like the same as pulling a part. It's just you have to also inspect the asset. So you need to, if it's closed, you open it up. Just make sure that's what they're asking for, right? You don't want to ship the wrong, if it's a misidentified part and you don't know that, you send it to a base and it's a MICAP, they're not going to be happy. So that's the current process. So the new process would be you would pull up the app, pick your pull you want to do. We don't have like an assign function yet. I'm sure we'll get there because it's going to need to happen. So audit trails and stuff like that, just figure out who did what. But you would then obviously assign it to yourself. Go out there, you scan the QR code on the part. You would then take it to your hold location. You scan the QR code on your hold location, it's done. That's it. You're not printing a 1348. You're not doing any of that. The premise is that it's digitalized, right? So you're almost putting your digital signature on a 1348. So you can still go back and generate one, but you're going to sign it in there. It's going to be already signed. It's going to have a timestamp and date stamp and everything. So it just gets rid of that paper copy. I think you have to have, the reg says 1348s for at least a year. So hold on to them at least a year, and then before you can shred them. But realistically, no one's going back and looking at that. I mean, you might for like shippers that goes wrong.
But then it's a serious process. You have to audit basically.
Yes,
exactly. And if we have a digital audit, it's I don't see why that can't be a policy change that's made. So yeah, that's a new process for pulls, I would say. Yeah.
Where does that so there's an interface with ILSS, right? With the polling.
Yes.
What was the other legacy platform that you guys wanted to interact with, and where does that fit into this?
So CMOS, what we want to attack first is ILS, make sure it works with the supply system. Once we get that up and running, then we're going to go to the TMO side, that's CMOS, Cargo Movement Operating System. What we're going to attack next after CMOS, or after ILSS, is being able to process cargo through the app instead of having to pack the items outside and then go all the way inside to process, print the labels, go back outside. So we'll be able to sign for the cargo, process the cargo, print labels, all at one table outside. So the life cycle of an outbound shipment from signing from supply to out the door is roughly 8 minutes per piece at Dyess Air Force Base. With the app, we're projecting 3.5 to 4 minutes.
With better information, more consistent results. And stuff like that. And that would be using the same QR codes from the system.
Exactly.
So everything's preloaded, no room for error, no miswriting of bad hands.
Exactly that.
No additional documentation. Everything's just going to be that one code, and that's it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Did you guys develop this yourselves?
So we've been working with a guy he works for Project ARC right now. I met him at AFRIS Innovation Industry Days in San Antonio. Actually, not even at the conference. It was like an after thing. And I met him through a SrA company, actually, that wanted to build this for us. And he was like, hey, man, I can do this for nothing. And I can do it faster.
That's way better.
And I can do it. And so it's airman built, and it's built for airmen. That's what I like to say. It's built by airmen for airmen. And I think it's the way that we should go. I mean, AFI Explorer is the same way. It's built by airmen for airmen. And I think you're not looking for all these approvals and funding. It's like, you have the talent, use it, And that's what I love about this project.
That's awesome. So what's the next step?
So the next step, we've got our foot in the door with ILSS. We've introduced it to them, and they're going to talk. They're going to, talk about it, see if it's something they want to, pursue with us. And the next step would be really getting all of our applications, or as in like our processes, smooth out. So MRSP is coming quickly. It'll be tested at Northern Edge in Alaska. So I'll be going out with our kits. So it'll be like I'll be working on this as well, which will be nice. And then I want to get maintenance side involved. Like, hey, look, Pro Soups, stop asking me for parts or QRL when I can show you everything that's in my kits on this right here. Like you can save it to your phone. You can save it as an app icon. You don't even have to go to your web browser. You can save it to your phone. It'll all be locally hosted, which is the plan. So you just have to be on our network to use it. It'll be like a little Go kit because we're not hosted. And that is the next step as well, getting hosted on a DoD platform. So platform one, I think our Bespin. And then we've also been thinking about going through the AFWorks refinery as well. We're just kind of like laying out the options really. But I think Bespin is probably our best bet. And they work very well with progressive web apps and everything. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. How are you guys doing? Are you having fun at LOA this year?
It's a good time.
So big.
No, I think Loa's great. As an airman, as a very young, one of very few senior airmen here, it's really eye-opening, especially if you love your job and love what you do. You get to see everything. I've talked to plenty of officers here, and they're like, "Whoa, it's great that you're here." But it's awesome if you're really serious about wanting to learn more about the career and everything. And I think it's a great place to network as well. Met Major in a hurry, so
the expo went well.
Went amazing.
Expo was amazing. First, we got to really do thank Loa and everybody for hosting us and allowing us to come out here and try to spread the word of our program, but also for you guys at TSgt actually putting on the event for us and giving us a voice out there to outreach to all the all the officers, all the logistics guys, and everyone that actually wants to make changes and actually see something different. You guys let us speak to everybody, so it's a really great accomplishment for us to be out here.
And I think TSG's done a great job of connecting us with the right people and really getting us where we need to be. Honestly, we wouldn't be anywhere without TSG right now. Because originally we were
my heart.
we entered Ether Sprint. I was like, we're not getting picked up. But we decided, even if we aren't getting picked up, we're working this, right? Like, we're going to do it anyways. We didn't get picked. Well, okay, semifinals. But then they connected us with a team at Travis, and then we just kept talking, and then ended up going to
Industry Days?
Yeah, Industry Days, and it really blew up from there. I mean, from January to where we are now in March.
Huge.
Yes, we did not have a product in January, and then within the second week of February, we had an MVP that fast. And I think that's mainly because we went the route we did, just the airman route. If we would have done SrA, I really think we wouldn't be very far right now. I'm not saying SrA's bad or anything. It's just not the route we would have gone. Because, there's funded or approved and not funded. So we didn't need any money. We spent $0.
That's awesome.
$0 where we're at right now. The only expense we've had is coming out here, but we can justify that. And then we brought our guy from Project Arc out. So he's Project Arc out of Luke, but working this. So he had to come out there. He came out for a week, and we just ran him through the processes because it's really hard to explain to someone that's a Chinese linguist that works for the NSA, not doing anything that's close to regular Air Force stuff, to understand how the supply chain works. So him seeing what we do and showing him the processes and letting him shadow us, it really opened his mind to the way we think, and it helped a lot. And we knocked out our TMO side of everything in that week. If we had 2 weeks, I don't know what we would have done, because we might have changed the world for all we know.
Well, that's a part of our model, is that we rely on people like you guys, and sometimes that means bringing them out here, and things happen when you're in this space, in this ecosystem. We appreciate the heck out of you guys, and this is really it's an awesome thing that you've done this. And it's an awesome thing that it's zero cost at this point. It's an awesome thing that we're working hard to find where this thing's going to actually live, and kind of think about that long-term piece and just get it out there in the hands of the warfighter. So,
exactly.
Heck yeah.
I think one of our lines is getting parts to the warfighter faster. It's the bottom line. It's how can we generate sorties faster? How can we bomb the enemy faster? How can we deter our adversaries faster? I don't know how China does warehousing, but I'd like to see it. It might be better than ours. It's probably worse than ours, but who knows?
You mentioned that we put a link in the show notes to download the app.
Yeah, it's you wouldn't download it. It's just a website.
Oh, okay. Web app, sorry.
Yeah, it's progressive web app. So we can just put that link in there, and you can guys check it out. It's you're not going to break anything by touching anything. It's just going to reset itself. We used to have the QR codes that worked on there. We don't anymore. So you're not really going to be able to do that unless you learn how to code a QR. There's a QR code maker. And all this stuff is really simple. It's stock numbers and stuff like that. But there's no CUI. Everything's just made up in there. It's all fake. I made up random document numbers, stuff like that. So
if someone out in the field was interested in the development of this, is there any way that you'd like them to get involved, or a way that they could give you feedback?
Yeah, we have an org box. It's we can link it, but I think it's 7.lrs at Hydras. It's weird. I don't know. They laid it out.
We can give you
We'll put it in the.
We have an org box, and then you can connect with me on LinkedIn if you want, or any of these guys. We're all on LinkedIn. Just reach out, send a message. I would love to get a SharePoint going. The plan is to get a SharePoint going. Just really haven't figured that out yet. We have a Teams, but that's private, so can't get on there. Once I get a SharePoint going, there'll be a SharePoint and a Google Forms and all that fancy stuff that program offices have.
In short of all that, you can, of course, reach out to anyone on the TSgt team, and we can put you in contact with any of these awesome innovators here. Any closing thoughts?
Honestly, if you guys are interested in learning more about the program, or if anyone just wants to have GWIS information, then they can just hit us up. They can contact us. We're welcome to talk about it or give them all the spiel. If they want to host us at their base once we get it greenlit, and
we'd love to come out.
Yeah, we'd love to come out and actually
demo it,
or even get a small working portion for them to test out just on their own time. And if anyone just wants to show a little love to it, that's great too.
And I really encourage young airmen, especially ones that have been told no and their idea is stupid by their leadership, to just reach out to TSgt. Tell them, hey, this is my idea. They might be able to connect you with the right people, or link you with people that are working on similar projects so you can collaborate with them, right? Just because you were told no by your flight chief or anybody, doesn't mean that someone else is going to tell you no. Be persistent, and you're going to get somewhere. And it's people that have those minds that are really going to change the Air Force and change the way we fight wars.
Airman Wynn, Sergeant Garcia, Sergeant Funderburgh, thanks for being on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the TSgt podcast. This show is how I started to learn about enterprise-level strategy and the innovation ecosystem within the Air Force, and I hope we passed along some learning to you with this episode. If you'd like to engage with our team, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and connect with us on LinkedIn. Any references to trademarked, copyrighted, or protected products or services such as books, movies, or businesses are used here for the limited purpose of education and professional development of Air Force Airmen. If you have any questions, please contact us at www.tesseract.af.mil.